This is an SM Media production. Hi everyone and welcome to episode 14 of SM Media's Road to Cheltenham. I'm Scott McPike, delighted to be your host as always. Joined as always by Calum McClurkin. Calum, we're not going to waste any time. How are you doing? Are you good?
Yeah, very well. Excited for some weekend ahead.
It's a very busy weekend and we're going to go straight into it. We're going to start off with some fan questions, and we've got one of the best questions I've ever received in any of the videos we've done on anything we've done so far. Somebody's asked, put every winner from the four big races since 2000 of obviously Champion Hurdle, Queen Mother Champion Chase, Stairs Hurdle and Gold Cup, race them against each other and give us the 1, 2, 3 for each race. First of all, Callum, what a question that is.
Fantastic question, yeah. Great imagination.
Right, Champion Hurdle. I'm going to give it to you.
Number one would be Esterbrak, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've got Esterbrak as one.
2000 winner, probably would have went 3 times if it wasn't for that pesky foot and mouth. I put Hardy Eustace as number 2.
Right, okay, interesting.
As a dual winner. Oh, he's a real battler, a kind of old-time classic that you always have in your mind. So when they run against each other, I can't imagine him out the first 3. And Hurricane Fly, 3rd.
I've got Hurricane Fly 3rd. I don't have Hardy. I've got Hardy Eustace. I was tough to split Hardy Eustace and Hurricane Fly. I've got Faugheen as 2. Now, it's probably a bit personal because of just how much I love the horse, but I watched every single race in the past couple of days preparing for this question. I've came to one conclusion. If Faugheen was fit, he would have won probably 3 champion hurdles. He'd have obviously won 1. He would have won the one Ante Power run in if he was fit, and he'd probably won the year after that Bouverdare's first one. So that's 3. I just think that as well, how highly rated was he when he won the champion hurdle? It was an ultra good performance. I've got Faugheen 2, Hurricane Fly 3, but I'm not going to disagree in Hardy Eustace. Move on to Champion Chase. This is where I get controversial because I don't have Altior in my top 3.
Neither do I.
Really?
Amazingly, neither do I know.
Who you got first?
Moscow Flyer.
Really?
For me.
Right, okay.
Brilliant old horse.
Yeah. When it stayed in his feet.
When it did, yeah. He stays in his feet in this race.
Mm-hmm.
Second, Sprinter Sacre in second. And then Masterminded in 3rd.
I've got the same 3. I just have them in a different order. I've got Sprinter Sacre first. Just that 2000, was it 2013? I think it was, whatever year it was. Not 2012, sorry, because it was Serre de Grugy that year. Sprinter Sacre won it that year. Absolutely unbelievable performance. I've got Masterminded in second because if you ask me to name one of the best Champion Chase performances, I'm going to say that Masterminded that year he won. The first year he won, what a performance that was. Yeah, I've got Moscow Flyer 3rd. I've got Moscow Flyer 3rd. But Altior just misses out. And that's a tough one. That was the hardest one. That was one I was torn between. I was torn between Moscow Flyer and Altior. But we'll move on to the Stairs Hurdle. First, a formality here.
Big Bucks.
Big Bucks. I've got Big Bucks first. I've got Angles Drever second.
So did I, yeah.
Yeah. And who got 3rd?
I was really torn between 2 for 3rd. I put in Barracuda though.
Right, okay.
He was really early on, 2001. Excellent French horse. Beat the best at the time. I almost put Thistlecrack in, but I couldn't quite bring myself to do it.
I've got Thistlecrack 3rd. But it's like a toss of a coin. Thistlecrack's performance here. He won. Barracuda was different class, but just Thistlecrack edges it for me. On to the Gold Cup. Now, we should just say in advance that everybody that watches this, please leave your 1, 2, 3 for all 4 races in the comments because we'd love to get everybody's opinion on this because it's such a good question. Best mate first for me.
Same, yeah. Number 1.
And Cotto Star second.
Same. My number 2.
Very good. 3rd, I've got Denman, but it was a really tough choice between. I would say Denman's probably the definitely third, but it was very hard not to put Long Run in because I thought Long Run was a very good horse. But Denman, obviously, the year 2008, it was the Cottestar versus Denman. The way Denman won that was unbelievable. So Denman makes it third for me.
Put on Cossack number 3.
Did you?
Because it was Cheltenham, and I thought he won a really strong renewal. It was quite good in the clock. It was torn between him and Long Run. I was always a Cato fan over Denman anyway.
Yeah.
So I'd be biased.
That was a great question. But as we say, get your responses into that because it's very good. We've got another couple of questions. First of all, where are we with Bally Adam? 16-1 looks good for the supreme each way value. I'll give that to you. On you go.
Yeah, it depends how forgiving you are, aren't you? His form in behind before he got beat by Appreciate It looked a bit questionable to me. He was favourite at the time for the Supreme. He won a Royal Bond that's not been franked as any good form. Angola was third, was hammered by Appreciate It last time out. So his form's open to question. There was definitely something amiss. He was a bit under the weather. Yeah. Appreciate beat him last time. So if you can forgive that, you can make an argument that he's overpriced. I think you like a bit better ground. I think he might want a little bit of a trip these days because he was a 3 mile point to point winner like Envoy Allen was. So I think chasing might be his game ultimately. But yeah, he's one of a few Gordon Elliott horses this weekend that you'd have to kind of look out for the future down the line.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think 16-1 looks better value than 5-1 did. So I would say, yeah, I'll be interested to see how he runs on Sunday in the novice hurdle. If he goes there, very interesting bet at 6-1. Last question. Nico de Boinville and Nicky Henderson have been slightly off form in the past couple of weeks and receiving criticism. Do you feel it's justified? I'll give that to you as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just think, in terms of Nicky Henderson, I think he's just been very protective of his horses in a really unique season, particularly his high-class top-string horses. He seems to have campaigned Shishkin brilliantly. Altior might peak in time for Cheltenham. I think he does. He's probably the only British trainer at the moment that really does focus on the Cheltenham Festival. So I think he's probably trying to get them all to peak
at the right time.
At the right time in spring. As for Nico de Boinville, I haven't really noticed a massive dip in form. I mean, his stats over the past 5 years, he's got a 22% strike rate. And this season, it's 21%.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know because you'll have high-profile horses and high-profile rides. The two that you'd maybe questioned recently would be Bouverdaire. Was he too far back in that race? Did he follow Ballyandy instead of the real danger?
Yeah.
Which was Navajo Pass. Flint or Sacra maybe as well.
I just think that was, if that horse wasn't called Sacra, it would be getting anywhere near the attention it's received.
True, but then again, if you're probably on the best horse and pedigree wise, why bother and try and settle him in midfield? Yeah. Just let him bowl out and try and find out something. But I think in terms of his novices education, like watching him in Shishkin, damned he educates horses in novice company. I think they do try and find out as much as possible, even though he's maybe not got a lot to beat. But yeah, I can see why some people think he might be out of form, but I just think this kind of happens in cycles with every jockey these days.
Yeah, I really agree with that. That was our questions for this week. We'll move on to the recap, and we've had a very busy weekend actually. We'll start off on Wednesday in Thurles. We had Cole Reevy won a mare's chase by 12 lengths, now into 5-1 for the mare's chase. Very, very impressive performance. Do you think she's going to go to Cheltenham?
No, I don't think she will. Either. I think she'll probably go to Limerick. Again, Thurles, it's a right-handed track. It was deep ground, and that those conditions seem to really suit her. She'd also carry a penalty in the mare's chase, a Grade 1 penalty for beating Pencil Full of Lead at Limerick this season. So that's not really ideal for a mare's chase. If you get the likes of Benny Dadu turns up you'd have to give her £5, which for a novice would not be ideal, I don't think. I think they're leaning towards Limerick. She'd be entitled to go for Cheltenham, though, and have a crack at it if she wanted. Even one of the novice chases races, they might be tempted, but I think Willie Mullins is siding with Limerick and probably the safer bet, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Another horse that won on Wednesday at Thurles was Allaho, now into about 5-1 second favourite for the Ryanair. My thinking with Allaho is right. He jumps okay. I wouldn't say he's a great jumper, but I just think a 2 mile 5 furlong against the likes of Min, who's a speed horse, I think he would get done for pace a wee bit at some point in the race.
Yeah, he would early on. He would certainly not be able to dominate a Ryanair like he dominated there. It restores confidence in him, though. I mean, he does
definitely.
He does have a very lofty reputation, and we're looking for that to be kind of enhanced in some way. He won All Fairly May, but with a little bit up his sleeve, I think. The Ryanair trip might be a bit sharp because Willie Mullins has always commented and thought that he'd get 3 miles sooner rather than later.
I think he would get.
How big a horse he is.
I think if you give Allaho the Aintree, the Melling Chase, I think he's tailor-made for a race like that. I think a flat track, a bit higher than the Ryanair trip, I think he's tailor-made for a race like that. I just don't think Cheltenham could be.
I thought he ran really well at Cheltenham, the RSA. I wouldn't be bothered about the track with him. Aintree, I think he'd probably be a Betway Bowl or something.
Yeah.
3 miles there. I do think the Melling or 2.5 would be too sharp, and Min would probably go there as well and take him on. And the likes of Master Tommy Tucker likes to get on with it as well. So I just don't think he'll get a lead. I think he probably needs to find about £9 or something to challenge Min, and he's also going to be one of many horses you'd imagine that would want to be ridden prominently in this race. Mellon would like to be forward. Peter Laura likes to get on with it. Maybe some big ass to get kind of at the front here for this race. Pace burn up. Yeah,
we'll touch on the second Daily May now. 4-1 favourite for the Mare's Chase. She kept on really well. I think she was the one to take out of this. She was 13 lengths better than Called Evie time wise, and that to me looks like a very good yardstick for the Mare's Chase. Do you think she's the right favourite?
Probably, because we know that she's going there. I think she's going to go to Nace and then go to the Mare's Chase to get a couple bit more experience under her belt. It was a very solid run. There's a lot of support for her on the day before it. I think she's probably a rock solid candidate for the Mare's Chase now.
Yeah, I think so as well. We'll move on to Thursday at Gowran Park. We've got a couple of horses to mention. Sam's Profile, now 25-1 for the Stairs, won the Galmoy Hurdle. Battled well to beat the Care. The horse I liked, Great White Shark, was very disappointing. I can't really take her for anything, to be honest. But Sam's Profile, if there's a trainer I love more than Mouse Morrison, I've yet to meet him because I absolutely love Mouse Morrison, particularly with this horse, how well he's campaigned him.
Yeah, he came back from a nasty rib injury apparently and ran a career best. I think Teal Care ran quite well as well in defeat. It was a weaker renewal than normal, and I don't think the 1 and 2 will make much strides in a really strong looking Stairs hurdle.
Yeah.
Great White Shark, I mean, she was too keen and didn't stay in heavy ground over 3 miles. So, but problem is she's £10 higher than when she was third in a Martin Pipe. So could she run in a well off maybe top weight in a Coral Cup? So it's probably a big ask.
Yeah, definitely. We'll move on to the Estes Chase where Cocoa Beach won it well. Very good performance. I think Cocoa Beach is going to go National Hunt Chase. Yeah.
Gordon Elliott kind of hinted at that.
Yeah.
He's already got Galvin, so a couple of options. He did look the obvious winner. I was quite pleased with how Class Conti ran in third.
Yeah.
Bit of a price. He was travelling really well, but just couldn't keep tabs in the Elliott's two that were quite unexposed and ahead of their marks.
Yeah, I quite like a run. I picked Run Wild Fred for the race beforehand. He was second. I fancy him for the Kimura. He could be a very interesting race for that race. Interesting horse for that race.
Yeah, off 140. Just wonder if he's a bit slow. Even for a Kim Muir in Cheltenham. But they do like to get on with it, and his jumping was quite moderate before that. So yeah, it was a good run for sure. Yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on.
Keep an eye on, yeah. Friday in Doncaster, a horse to mention, Ableo, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Very good performance. Raised £7 now, runs off a mark of 154. 16 to 1 in places for the Brown Advisory in the Grand Annual. I think this horse could be a very good chance in wherever it goes. But where do you think it could go?
Probably Grand Annual if they go the Cheltenham route. It will need to be soft as well. 154 off soft ground. You can see maybe placing. Again, the handicap will just begin to catch up. When you rack up these wins and you go through the handicap, it's never ever going to get easier for you. And you know, something like Aramax and Tukas, we have to give away the best part of a stone to maybe something a bit more unexposed. He is 8 years old. Good form ties in with Sky Pirate, and when he tried 2.5 before, he never looked like getting home. So Grand Annual probably.
Yeah.
He does have lofty entries though. I mean, champion chase Ryanair, so they obviously think a bit of him, but he needs to improve massively to get into the frame for that, you'd imagine.
Yeah, without a doubt. We'll move on to Saturday. We'll just one word, Shishkin. 8-11 now for the Arkle. I just think when you look at this horse and you think, there's nothing going to beat this horse. He's just a machine.
Yeah, true. He was excellent again. He was a bit iffy at a few at the start.
Yeah, he jumped a bit left as well.
When he was under restraint. But then he was allowed to stride on.
Yeah.
And go on. I mean, the time on that ground, it was just barely over 4 minutes, which is, you know, quite something.
Yeah.
He wasn't entirely in love with the ground either. He's just so professional. You wouldn't think he's a novice. You think he's done it all before. He's been there for like 2 or 3 seasons over fences. Barely puts a foot wrong. Yeah,
I love him. Absolutely love him. I know I get what you mean about him. He was a bit iffy to start with, but see, once Nico just gave him let him stroll on, it was just different league. We'll move on to Sunday. We've got a couple of horses to mention. We'll start off with the Novices Chase. Eclat de Raya won it very, very well. 12 to 1 for the RSA. Could be a good outside chance. What did you think of that race?
It's a good performance. He jumped really well. Might need it soft. He might quite inexperienced. You know, get this Manila Indo profile of being really lightly raced. Henry de Bromhead stable. You know, I'm a bit gutted because I thought that Cobbler's Way would be doing this.
Yeah.
And not this chap. I think Cobbler's Way is probably a bit better than this chap, I'd imagine, at the start of the season if you're going to rank them. But obviously something's going wrong with him this season, and we haven't seen him. But yeah, it was a good performance. I can certainly see in each wee angle take him on. You know, if Monkfish in latest exhibition go hammer and tongs again and give each other a hard race, this guy could go from the front and pick up the pieces, put them under a bit of pressure.
Yeah. The second horse is the one I want to touch on, Iscaria 10. If this horse shows up in a Kim Muir, he's rated 140 just now, but I assume the English handicapper would possibly give him £5, which means he might scrape into a Kim Muir. If he turns up at Cheltenham in a handicap off that mark, you have to back him. And the only reason I'm not tipping him up is because I don't know if he's going to go to Cheltenham, because I think the Irish Nationals are a race he could potentially be aimed at. But I love Iscaria 10.
Yeah, I'd like giving an Irish National personally. I think that's maybe a bit more suitable race for him rather than another slog. He jumped quite well. He beat Pencil Full Lead quite convincingly.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite get to the second. See him running well on a National Hunt Chase as well. I think stamina is obviously his strong suit. Yeah, I can definitely see why a lot of people are interested in where he goes next. Yeah,
I would just be worried if he's going to get in. But we'll move on to the final race in Nason Sunday. I just want to get your thoughts on this. Billaway, now 10-3 favourite, tipped up by Calum at 5 to 1. What did you think?
I was happy enough with it. He won. He was sticky at a few. His jumping was a bit of a backward step, but Patrick Mullins said that was due to the ground. Just fair enough. The fact that he made so many mistakes and still won suggests that he's got quite a bit up his sleeve against the rest of these at the moment, which is what I kind of thought he had. He went round outside the home bend and travelled. He went past 7 or 8 horses in about 4 or 5 strides. And this horse is just better than a Hunter's Chaser.
Yeah, definitely.
I know his jumping is a bit moderate, and it's a question mark, and something might beat him, but he has gone 1-2-2-1 2-2-1-1 now.
Yeah.
And the Staker Wallace has won 1 race in his life. Is a year older, and that was a maiden at 47 by 2 lengths.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, and there's also this problem with the British point-to-point scene being cancelled out, that you've got to run. You have to finish in the first 4 in 2 Hunters Chases between January 20 and March 1 to qualify if you've not qualified before. So all these new British horses, this is why you're getting 30 to 40 entries in these Hunters Chases. There are only 2 or 3 a week on ground that's really minging, or it'll be called off anyway. So you've got all this raft of new horses trying to get in, trying to qualify. They'll need 2 runs between now and Cheltenham, and you've got the favourite who's had a whole year to campaign for it, sitting in his box, more or less unbeaten.
Yeah.
Apart from a mistake at the last on his reappearance, he'd be 3 for 3. You can knock him for his jumping, and the nature of the race does make 5-2, 10-3 quite short. But I'm still, I think It Came to Pass is the major threat, and I think he might be developing into the only one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think jumping would be a concern, but he's got the best engine of any Hunter's Chaser we've seen in a long time, which, if he jumps well, should be enough. So that was it. That was our recap for the week. We'll move on to Dublin Racing Festival preview. We usually preview a race at the festival, but this week we are going to take a look at every race at the Dublin Racing Festival. Calum, apart from Cheltenham, is this the most exciting weekend of the year in the horse racing world?
It's a brilliant weekend. Also, particularly with Musselburgh on as well, and Scottish Trials weekend.
Aye.
I do love going up to Musselburgh, normally on the Sunday, watching that and the Irish Gold Cup on the big screen there. Which it's probably one of the weekends that I really miss of not going to track. Yeah,
definitely. But we'll get started. We'll get fired straight in. Saturday, with the first race we've got, it's a 2 mile 6 novices hurdle. Gaillard du Mesnil leads it at 5-2. Statler 5-1. Cape Gentleman 7s. Ashdale Bob and Gentleman's Game 8s, and your beloved Holy Macapony at 10s. What do you think of this race?
It's a brilliant race to start off.
Brilliant.
It really is. The 2 mile 6 trip's a bit of a quirk in the system, given it's not quite Albert Bartlett, not quite Ballinor trip. To keep an eye on the ground. If it's heavy, it'll deeper, more test of stamina, it'll probably play in Statler's hands. If it's more speed orientated and it's not too desperate, it'll probably play in Gaillard du Mesnil's hands. Obviously quite interesting how Holy Macapony goes after the last time. Just seemed to go wrong somewhere, but it's good to see him back. But yeah, you can make a case for plenty of these. Yeah,
I quite like Ashdale Bob at 8s. Obviously was very impressive just before Christmas. Again, as you say, it could be a stamina fest. It looks as if he's going to convincingly get 3 miles well. So I've got Ashdale Bob, but I'm really interested with you to see Holy Macapony. We'll move on to the Dublin Chase, where we'll see the return of Chacun Persois, 4-9, Chacun Persois, Min 7-2, Notebook 5-1, and 10-1 Bar. Is this going to play out the same as it did last year?
Yeah, well, the market's got a clear idea. They're all a sea of red at the moment, because people just think that that's going to be the result. Chacun will beat Min, and Min will beat Notebook, and the rest probably aren't good enough. It'll be interesting to see if they do give it. They wouldn't want a hard race.
No.
Chacun Persois and Min, with Cheltenham in mind, 6 weeks away. They wouldn't want to go like a relentless 2 mile dust up between the pair of them. Interesting to see how Notebook gets on as well.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. I think he could be a threat.
Continue improving. could be. He's still got a bit to find with Shaq and Pulsar, who's comfortably held at Christmas. It should be the 1, 2, 3 in order, but
I think it will.
Great race to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that race. I'm very, very keen to see Shaq and Pulsar, and obviously I think Min will chase him home. Irish Arkle, 2 mile, 1 furlong. We have Energy Main leading the market 4 to 5. Ma, horse unaccepted. I tipped him up at 16 for the Arkle, 5 to 1. Franco Deport, 7 to 1. Captain Guinness, 10s. And Felix Desjardins and Darver Star at 12 to 1. This is an absolute cracker, if they all turn up.
It's a good race.
Now, with my thinking is, Unaccepted was very, very impressive the first time. His only start so far was a very, very impressive performance. Jumped really well. Energy means a different challenge, but I really, really think Unaccepted at 5 to 1 is a big price here.
Yeah, it could well be. Energy mean it's obviously the rightful favourite. Whether you want to take odds on about him, I'm not sure. He's going to get his ground as well.
Yeah,
but he's bound to get competition for the lead here at some point, probably by Felix Desjardins.
Felix Desjardins, yeah.
Who's a bit of a lunatic, so it might set up for a closer. It's something like maybe Darver Star or Franco Deport could pick up again. I do like Unaccepted, but it's just his fragile profile. I want to see him top level. I want to see more substance to him before backing him substantially. But if there's a positive move for him in the market, then that's probably a good sign. And Willie Mullins did say at the start of the season that Unaccepted was more likely to be his Arkle horse than anything else.
Yeah, I think I like him each way at 5 to 1. We'll move on to the Irish Champion Hurdle, where this could be one of the races of the season. Honeysuckle 5 to 4, Sharjah 2 to 1, San Ra 11 to 2, and Abacadabra 6 to 1. I will start off with you in this before I touch on my beloved Honeysuckle.
Yeah, again, it's another race that you'd expect will be tactical. You'd expect a lot of horses to have quite a few chances in it. Sharjah is the best form probably around the track, but it's likely to be a bog for tackling the hurdles course, and that's not his game. And I know it was soft when he won last time out, but it wasn't heavy. And there's nothing previously that suggests he remotely acts in heavy, which is a problem for him. I'd also have ground doubts about Abacadabra as well. I don't think he wants to be absolutely bottom, and I'm pretty convinced he's trained with Cheltenham in mind at the moment. So I think you're just looking for another step forward from him, rather than maybe a winning performance. There's quite a few. Soldier I can't trust. I can see the angle in. He's not a million miles away if he's sound, but you just don't know. Petit Mouchoir could run an honourable race again without winning. Saint Ra, how many chances are you willing to give him?
I know.
He could hit the frame again. Winning, it's a bit of a stretch for me. So I did end up with Honeysuckle. I think she'll dictate. I think she's allowed to dictate, and I think this heavy ground and the £7 allowance will swing things in her favour.
I like her. Everybody knows how much I love her. The only thing that would strike me as well was obviously her jumping, but her jumping was excellent in the Mares Hurdle last year. I don't really think you can use the Hatton's Grace this year as a good marker for her, because I think she was a bit lethargic. She'll come on for that, surely. I think 5 to 4. Maybe I understand why people are opposing her, but I think she's better than all these. I think if she jumps well, she'll win.
Yeah, I think she's the most solid option. There's again a lot of these favourites. You can see why they're ahead of the market, but they are short prices and they don't hold that much betting appeal. Neither does Honeysuckle, but it's one of those races where you wake up every day and your instinct and come up with a different result. I just think, but I aspire to her not being here. Just think it offers a lot of opportunity for Rachel Blackmore to dictate the pace in Honeysuckle, and I think she'll probably get it done. I mean, she does unbeaten. I don't think it'll be pretty, but I think she'll probably do it. Yeah,
if she wins this well, is she going to Champion Hurdle? Yes or no?
It opens the door. I could see her winning, scrambling home by a length again, and had this conversation 12 months ago. I would take the chance.
I would take the chance.
I think it's open. I think it's more open. I think Concertista is a better rival than Benny Dudu was last year for the Mayor's Hurdle, and Benny still might go there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be leaning towards Champion Hurdle route. I think it's worth having a crack at.
Yeah, definitely. We'll move on to the Future Stars bumper. We could see potentially a few Future Stars. Sir Gerhard, even money. Kilcroot 9-4. Chemical Energy 5-1. What do you think?
So much, but Sir Gerhard, I don't think it's going to run by the looks of it. Gordon Elliott's kind of not quite keen on it. I think he's going to rely on Chemical Energy the most, so he might be scratched tomorrow. Might be a change of plan, but that's what he seems to be leading with. If this morning's comments are anything to go by, there's a real strong positive word about this Kilcroot now from the Mullins yard. In a similar mould, I've appreciated it.
Yeah.
And I would expect him to be favourite in the day. And if he does win, and he does win with any sort of authority, the double figures about him champion bumper will go quite quickly.
Yeah.
Ramalais is quite good. He was visually impressive last time out, but before that, he also looked quite impressive before he didn't really finish out his race where he was actually challenged. So I think something will challenge him here and might ask a few questions of him off the bridle. Kilcroot could be the one. Yeah,
Kilcroot was trained by Tony Mullins. Do I hear my Tony Mullins impression?
Go for
it. A fascinating race. Just remember last year he was doing a preview night and I was watching it, and since then he mentioned Kilcroot a lot in that preview night last year. I think, am I right in saying he finished second about the day after Cheltenham?
I think so.
Right. Obviously Sir Gerhard goes a massive danger, but Kilcroot was outstanding though the first time he came out. I'm on at 11-1. I'm hoping he bolts up here. He's shorter. Sir Gerhard's a massive danger. Chemical Energy as well is not to be sneezed at, but I really like Kilcroot. Something about him that day just struck me as a very good horse.
Yeah, it's the first bumper that they're going to start clashing with each other now, isn't it? I mean, they all look impressive until
I know,
until they face each other, and that's the thing. They're all winning by 9 lengths or plus, on the bridle relatively. So when they're in an actual race, we'll start learning more about the champion bumper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We'll move on to, we've got day one. What is your best handicap bets for the day one of the Dublin Racing Festival?
Got 2 in mind. 245. A Wave of the Sea, Joseph
O'Brien. I'm with you on that.
20-1. He's off 133. He just looks handicapped to win at some point, sooner rather than later, I think. And the 350, he's a Hardy bloke of no means. If he turns up here, 14-1, it's quite good. But I'm happy to wait until I see the final declaration.
Yeah, I'm with you in A Wave of the Sea. I've got a couple for day 2 that I want to touch on, but we'll touch on them later on. But as I say, there's nothing really screaming out to me. But again, we'll look at the declarations and we'll maybe even be on that later on during the week in the social media channels. We'll move on to Sunday. We've got another exciting few races. The Juvenile Hurdle, we won't see Zana here, but we will see Calixios at 5-4. French Seal might not turn up. He's about 7-4. Umdor 11-2. Saint Sam 10-1. I think this is all about Calixios. I've been blown away by him the first 2 times I've seen him. And if he wins this, I think he could be very, very interesting for the triumph.
Yeah, the fact Gordon Elliott's keen to split them up suggests that they are the top 2 of his. This is a race, that's produced some funny results in the past.
Mm-hmm.
One of the last 9 favourites have won this contest, so we don't know a lot about these juvenile horses. I think Calixios, I can leave him alone at 5-4, and if he wins, he wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hador might get a bit closer to him. He's a big price. Willie Mullins he was caught in the rear of a really slow pace, stayed on for third, beaten by 5 lengths or so. Yeah. Interesting to see if he gets closer off a truer pace.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe him each way if enough stand their ground, but it's not holding much appeal to me as a betting race.
Do we think French Seal's going to go?
I'd have my doubts. I don't think he will.
Yeah. St Sam's a horse I'm quite interested in at 10-1 for the Boodles. I think he's about that price for the Boodles as well. If he runs maybe third or fourth, he could still be very well handicapped for that race. I think he could be very, very interesting.
Probably, yeah. He might run too well for his own good, though.
I know, that's what I'm worried about.
You never know. That's why I'm always not so keen to pull the trigger at certain things. Ante Post pre-Dublin Racing Festival for Cheltenham. Yeah, he could. But I think Hador might be a bit better. Yumdor as well, if he stays on his feet, it'd certainly be interesting as well.
We'll move on to the novices hurdle, 2 miles. We will see Appreciate It again, going for back-to-back wins. 5-6, Appreciate It. 6-1, Ballyadam, who we mentioned earlier. Interesting to get your thoughts on a horseshoe tipped up for the Supreme Ganapathy. He's entered here at 12s. Do you think he'll go on? Did you give him a shout?
He's also entered in the opening race of Saturday, and I really hope he doesn't go there.
Yeah.
Along with Blue Lord as well. And Willie Mullins was saying that Ganapathy might be a stayer. I've no idea where he thinks that's the case. He might have a chance. He's a little overpriced, but you're looking for something to take on, Appreciate It, and you're struggling to find it. You know, you're wanting one that's unexposed. It's got lofty connections. Ganapathy's the one, maybe Blue Lord as well, that you want to land on and see if these two can actually improve. Maybe Willie Mullins just doesn't want to take on Appreciate It with his own stable too soon. The Real Deal run was probably quite taxing, and it wasn't long ago as well. So I'd be more inclined with Cheltenham in mind rather than this for Ganapathy. I think he needs a bit more experience under his belt. But if it is the heavy ground that we anticipate, I think Appreciate It will be very hard to beat.
I'm all over Appreciate It. 5-6. I don't really see them being much of a threat to him.
There's one at a price in a no Meads horse, Cask Mate, might run well.
Possibly, yeah. Was he second to Ballyadam in the Royal Bond?
He was, yeah.
He could be.
He might have just might be. He's a type that's going to train. Will probably train for this instead of any kind of futurist in mind. See him maybe running well at each way price.
Yeah, as I say, I'm all over Appreciate It. 5-6, and we might hear Appreciate It later on in the show. Flowgas Novices Chase, where we saw Faugheen absolutely lift the spirit of everybody last year. 2 mile 5 furlong. Monkfish leads it at 4-6, and latest exhibition 3-1. It's difficult to say what else might turn up for this race, but it's interesting here because 2 mile 5 furlong Monkfish, I'm not sure against the horse at latest exhibition. I don't know. I can't split them real.
I just think Monkfish just slightly holds latest exhibition in every single run under any circumstance. I think he wins again. He just keeps getting it done. There's not much flash about him, but he's just gonna win. I don't think he's even convincing. There's not going to be much juice in the price, but
is there anything outside the two that you think might run a race?
No, I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
I might on the day, but no, I can't see it.
I just think as well. Have we seen Monkfish in really testing ground?
No, but his actions suggest he'd handle it with a French background. It shouldn't be a problem. Maybe a benefit over 2 mile 5 for him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
If it's deep ground.
Interesting to see how it all. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it works. I'm slightly with you in Monkfish, but I just had 2 mile 5 furlong. I'm just not 100%. We'll move on to the Irish Gold Cup. We're only getting a 5-runner field here. We have Manel Indo at 2-1, Kenboy 7-2, Melon 4s, Delta Work 5, the Storyteller 8-1. Where are you with Delta Work? Your tip for the Gold Cup?
He's finally got Jack Kennedy aboard now.
Do you think that swings it? Do you think that swings it in his favour?
I think he's the one that you've got to be on at the prices. He's a defending champion here. He won it last year. He's the highest rate in the field still. He just has to jump a bit better. And now that he's got his regular rider on, apparently school well on Tuesday morning with Jack Kennedy aboard, it seems to make the world of difference for some reason. deep ground is a concern, though. I mean, I think that's going to put more pressure on his jumping. And therefore, Menelindo looks the obvious one to take advantage. I think a smaller field here would definitely suits him a bit more. I'm happy to take on the Mullins pair. I thought they gave himself a big old dust up at Christmas. We'll try and ride Mellon differently. Ken Boy will not appreciate heavy ground at all. So
not at all.
Torn between Menelindo and Delta.
Do you want me to do it again? This is a fascinating race. I like Menelindo. I think it's just that I think it's tailor-made for Menelindo. I wouldn't really like the Storyteller 8-1. Something about the Storyteller I just think is suited to these conditions. So Menelindo first, Storyteller second for me. But another interesting race again. Mayor's Bumper. Whatever Patrick Mullins rides here will win. And that's all I'm going to say. Brooklyn Glory, Take T, Brandy Love, whatever one of those he rides will win. Because that's the best one.
Take T was bought by GP McManus, really, so there's also something in mind with her. Brandy Love was brought by Claudio Reach, I think. So they're the two that you'd think are probably the ones to focus on. I think the market agrees. I don't think Take T should be 3-1 in comparison to Brandy Love 10-11. Maybe that indicates who's riding who here, but I think Take T. If Take T's a massively bigger price than Brandy Love, would probably side with her just because of the odds. Yeah, not a lot to split them.
Nah, it'll be interesting. As I say, whatever I think Patrick rides will win. Best handicap bets for day two. I've got a couple. I think wherever Master McShee goes, I think you have to look at it. Second to Appreciate It in his maiden hurdle, very, very impressive after that in a handicap. I think he's maybe going to run in the race on Sunday. If he runs there, I think he's a big price. I think he's about 10-1. I think he lump on him. Far Class as well, former winner of the Triumph. I think it's very interesting. I don't know if I think he's confirmed for maybe a couple of races over the Saturday and Sunday, but I think he's very well handicapped. Is there any for you that you fancy?
Frontal Assault at 12-1 in the 140. In the hurdle race at Gordon Elliott, Gigginstown won with Dallas de Picton. He was a 6-year-old. Frontal Assault's a 6-year-old and in a progressive type. He's about 12-1 for that. You can see a decent link there if he can get in off a sensible weight. In the 410, another pair of Gigginstown horses. Trainwreck 20-1. Henry de Bromhead was second last year in the same race at Leopardstown. He's only £2 higher. Just going to a solid horse for that kind of assignment. Maybe there's something well handicapped that will probably beat him. He's kind of a similar line to Class Conti last week, and that he's a big price, but he's kind of fairly well proven course and distance, and kind of warms to the task around this time of year. Looking at previous form, aforementioned as well of Gordon Elliott's is one that he's only an 8-year-old. He won a quite big handicap at 3 miles. It's like drop and trip. But he's 25-1. I think he's got unfinished business going up the handicap rankings. Whether it's going to be this weekend, whether it's going to be somewhere else down the line, Irish Grand National Day, something like that. I don't know, but he's been quite unlucky, and he's not quite made the cut in quite a lot of these big handicap races, and he seems to be mapped out for one of these. So if he can finally get a run, he'd be of interest. But 25-1 at the moment. Yeah.
Right, let's put our cards on the table. Let's do a lucky 15 for the Dublin Racing Festival. We'll have 2 selections each. My first one is Unaccepted at 5-1 for the Irish Arkle. What you got?
Menelindo in the Irish Gold Cup.
Yeah. I will reach that with Calexios at 5-4 for the Juvenile Hurdle.
The Honeysuckle Champion Hurdle.
Brilliant. That's it. That is our look at this week's Dublin Racing Festival. We'll also take a look at what's coming up in England. There's a few interesting races to touch on. Obviously, Callum's touched on the Scottish Trials at Musselburgh. Is there anything at the Scottish Trials that catches your eye?
Not particularly. The Edinburgh National's quite a good pointer to maybe some Commure horses down the line. Some of them are mapped out quite well for that. Third Time Lucky runs in the Supreme Trial. Well, he's entered in it anyway. And maybe a few decent Northern horses that might enhance their claim to try and go down to Cheltenham. So yeah, there's probably quite a few that you'd want to keep in mind.
Yeah, the rearranged Cotswold Chase will be run at Sandown, and I believe the Cleveland will be run at Wetherby. Is that right?
Yeah, well,
yeah. We don't have Paisley Park in the race at Wetherby, so is there any horse you want to put up for that?
No, on the initial entries, they'll just scan that. I think on the blind side might pick up something.
I think
here.
I could potentially be on his.
He could be the one that might take advantage. Again,
Yeah, I'd agree with you, but it'll be an interesting race. We'll move on to the Grade 1 at Sandown. We have the Scilly Isles Novices Chase. This looks a corker on paper. Shanblue and Hitman at 5-2, Allard 10-3, Messiah de Zobo 7-2, and your Damned the Company at 4-1. Do we think these are all going to go? And if so, what's your bet in the race?
I hope Damn the Company doesn't.
I hope it doesn't. I hope she doesn't go here either.
I hope she goes to Musselburgh, I think, for the Frodon Novices Chase. All that failed last time. I do have a theory about him saying that he wants a bit of a trip. I would like to see him over 3 miles. Just think he gets out of his comfort zone way too early in these races. One time I asked, he was totally under the pump. And the other time he fell. I think that was because of the early skirmishes. Really. Yeah. I think he'd appreciate a mile just to find his feet. So I think a staying trip would be more interesting there. I like Messerdale Bow in this. You won't have Cheltenham in mind.
No.
I think he's got a lot of. I could see a lot of pace in the race as well. I think he can just travel in behind and pick up the pieces. You can shop about. You can get 9-2. I'd be quite taken with that. I think he brings the classiest kind of level of form into things.
I think Hitman's interesting going up and trip as well, but I'm going to side with the favourite, Shanblue. 5-2, obviously won the Cotto Star, beating the big breakaway, jumps really well, looks as if he's going to go for the Mars, so this will be a very, very interesting test for that. And we'll move on to Wetherby. We've got one race to mention. We've got the Towton Novices Chase, where the aforementioned big breakaway leads the market 7-4. The big breakaway has to win this race.
Yeah, I can't trust him, and I won't be touching him at 7-4. Full back at 6-1 for Gary Moore is a progressive horse on soft ground at a track that he likes. I think I'm happy enough to take him at 6-1.
I would, if the big breakaway jumps better, I think his engine will just prove too strong. I'm on the big breakaway, and that is your look at what's coming up this weekend. We'll now take a look at our Ante Post Picks, and they're coming along the screen just now. There's a couple to mention that ran over the past week that we didn't touch on the recap. We'll start off with my horse, Riviere de Tel. I tipped her up last week at 14-1 for the Mares Novices Hurdle. Finished third against the Devil's Coachman. I obviously it wasn't nice to see her lose, but I wouldn't be totally put off with her. I don't think conditions suited. I think there was a couple of things kind of went against her, but potentially not one to shy away from yet. What did you think of her?
Yeah, I thought she was just a bit immature in the closing stages a little bit, which suggests to me that she might need another year or so at the top level. Maybe all this hype's kind of a little bit too much, a rise in grade. Certainly temper enthusiasm for a triumph. Mares Novices, she could go there. Time to recover. She holds an each way chance. I think the jury's out on her in terms of festival prospects, I think.
As you say, like she'll still get £8 allowance if she goes the Mares Novices Hurdle, so I think that's probably the best race for it to go for. We'll move on to Column of Fire. Now, is she still running?
No, I think he just finished 5 minutes ago.
What do you think? Do you think it's a plot?
It's what I kind of expected to see. I mean, it was 33-1 before the off. I just about got it on to watch the paddock and see where he was. And he was massive. He was absolutely massive. Huge. He was as big as a bull, and he got promptly left behind. And after 3 hurdles, he was trading 100-1 in play. Probably should have been 1,000-1. If it's a plot, then even the Irish handicapper can spot it's a plot, because he was only reduced by £1 of 144, so he's still the same price. Where he goes next, he should try and go for a Punchestown Pertemps qualifier next.
Yeah, is he qualified for the Pertemps?
No, he's not. Not yet. Qualifying. That was his only run of the season. So he could totally leave that behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite a hard one to assess, because I don't think you really could. I think the handicap was a similar opinion. Just pretend it never happened, really. But he obviously didn't have the pace to go the early gallop, maybe because of fitness. But yeah, it would certainly bump him up to 3 miles, run him in a qualifier.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully the massive improvement comes.
Yeah, we need to, but it was interesting to say the least. We'll move on to our picks this week now. I've got 2 and you've got 1. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give my first one, and then we'll come back to you. Then I'll finish up. My first pick is a horse in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Now, I've picked one already in Lico's article, but all reports from Mr. Henderson is he's not going there. So I'm just going to be simple. I'm just going to tip up Appreciate It 5-2, because I think he'll win on Sunday, and I think he'll probably get the odds on us, just short of odds on. So I think 5-2 right now could be a big price. Best horse in the race. Again, this was a horse I was potentially thinking of tipping up for the battle at the start of the year. I genuinely thought that could be the avenue they go down. It just looks a stayer. His performance over Christmas was outstanding. Still, potentially, I don't think 2 miles is his best trip, but again, this is a very, very poor Supreme in paper. 5-2 looks big just now. If he wins on Sunday, it will not be 5-2.
Yeah, it's fair enough, isn't it? I mean, they're trying to find ways of him getting beat. I think it put in perspective this weekend. I really couldn't see it this weekend. Why should it be different 5-6 weeks down the line? Particularly if you don't really rate the British for that much. Yeah, he's obviously. I just wonder if something will mug him for pace if they do get spring round, but even that might be unlikely. So yeah, it's solid enough for sure.
Yeah, who you got for this week?
Rather left field, as I like to do. Lebroy at 25-1 for the cross country.
Brilliant.
Now, Ben Pauling kind of confirmed last week that this is the plan, and he's rated 140 over 3 mile 6, which, I mean, the further the better for him. The National Punch Chase winner took a lot out of him, but he's starting to come back to form. His run at Warwick was good, off 140 when he was third in the Classic Chase. He's shown that he can kind of develop into, he can deal with the Grand National fences. So that'll give you hope that he's kind of versatile enough to deal with cross country. And 25-1 each way, it's interesting because Easiest Land is not going to turn up for his prep run. I was
actually wanting to get your thoughts on that. Obviously, we had spoke a couple of weeks ago about Easiest Land. I was keen to tip him up on a double with another horse, but the vibes out of France don't strike me with much confidence.
No, and it's going to be harder for horses to come over from France.
Yeah, as well as that.
To Cheltenham, so they want that sorted out. He has had a reported issue, some form of pneumonia, I think.
Rhino pneumonia or something like
that. Bizarre one. Even more bizarre that nobody really knows about it, and he's obviously not fully over it yet because Pau was the plan for quite a long time. And I looked at the other horses in that race, and the thing is with these French horses, they do seem to just go no gallop whatsoever and then just dash home in these cross country races over far shorter than the 3 mile 6 here at Cheltenham. And Lebroy is just an interesting bit of placement here. The third behind Easiest Land Tiger Roll was Out Sam, who's rated 137.
Yeah.
Lebroy's 140, is more experience in open company.
And has won at Cheltenham.
Far better form. Has won at Cheltenham. He's quite versatile ground-wise, but stamina would be a really strong suit. If he goes from the front, takes to it, he's going to be really hard to beat all of a sudden, I think, I mean, on stamina grounds. Because this race is full of horses that are either over the hill or non-stayers, praying for no gallop. Easiest Land had a soft time of it in front, and Tiger Roll didn't go on the ground. I mean, what do you do in Tiger Roll? You've got to take a lot of trust to restore the faith with him. I know Potter's Corner ran okay in behind Easiest Land, but he was receiving all this weight, and he didn't run well at all over hurdles last time out though. So I've still got a wee question mark about him. And he's 11. Lebroy's 9. He's the right age. the big question mark obviously is he going to take to the whole thing? And he might not, and he might just hate it all and not handle the banks and lose 6-7 lengths here or there. But he's one to stay on. He's got a rating. He's got a rating that should beat the rest. And in all honesty, he certainly would in a normal event. I just think at a price, with some question marks developing about the front two now in the market that seem to be head and shoulders above the rest, he's the one from left field that I'm interested in, and I think he's the one I'll take at 25-1 each way. It's a confirmed target as well, so I wouldn't be worried about no bet necessarily.
Great pick.
Yeah, he's interesting for me.
Yeah, great pick. We'll move on to my second pick, and I am going to go for a horse in the Triumph Hurdle that we mentioned earlier on, mainly for value. I know Zana here will be very hard to beat, but I'm going to tip up another horse of Gordon Elliott's. I'm going to go for Calexios at 10-1. I think he's going to win on Sunday. I think he's going to be impressive, which makes another performance which we'll see 10-1 look big. Again, Zana here's a danger. I've been blown away by Calexios in his first two starts. Off for a while, has the potential to be a superstar. I just think he's the best value in the Triumph right now.
Yeah, fair enough. In contrast to Zana here, definitely. If he does emerge, if Gordon Elliott is his vibes of so keen to split the two and he rates both of them really highly, then one probably shouldn't be 11-4 and one should be 10-1. You know, presuming that he does what the market expects him to do this weekend. Yeah,
I'm keen on Calexios this weekend, and I'm going to 10-1 for the Triumph, and that is our Ante Post Picks. And that is us on this week's episode of Road to Cheltenham. I just want to thank Calum as always for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, brilliant. Can't wait for the weekend to come.
And we're going to have a very busy weekend. And as always, please stay tuned to our social media platforms where myself and Calum will be giving out tips every day of the Dublin Racing Festival and as well all the races that's coming up. Thanks very much for watching, everyone, and we will see you next week. Cheers.